Have you ever wondered what the very first video game looked like? Was it Mario, Pac-Man, or maybe Pong? The truth is, none of them. Long before gaming consoles, before powerful computers, and even before most people had seen a television, one simple experiment quietly changed history forever. It didn't make headlines, it didn't make millions of dollars, but without it, the gaming world we know today might never have existed. This is the incredible story of the world's very first video game. To find the first video game, we need to travel back more than 70 years. The world looked very different. There was no internet, no smartphones, no PlayStation, no Xbox. Computers were so huge that they filled entire rooms, and only scientists could use them. Back then, nobody imagined that one day billions of people would spend their free time playing games on tiny devices that fit inside a pocket. But every great story has a beginning, and this one starts inside a government research laboratory during the 1950s. In 1958, a physicist named William Higinbotham was working at Brookhaven National Laboratory in New York. Every year, the laboratory held an open house where visitors came to learn about science, but there was one problem. Most people found the exhibits boring. They looked at machines, listened to long explanations, and quickly lost interest. Higinbotham had a simple idea. What if people could actually interact with science instead of just looking at it? That small question would lead to something nobody expected: the first video game. Higinbotham wasn't trying to create the next big invention. He simply wanted visitors to smile. Using an oscilloscope, an analog computer, and a few electronic circuits, he built a small game that looked like a game of tennis. The screen showed only a bright line, a tiny ball, and a net in the middle. It was incredibly simple. But for the people who played it, it felt like magic. For the first time, a machine wasn't just doing calculations, it was entertaining people. When the exhibition opened, something unexpected happened. People walked past the expensive scientific machines, but then they stopped. A small screen caught their attention. Two players picked up strange metal controllers and started hitting a tiny glowing ball back and forth. Within minutes, a crowd gathered around the machine. People were laughing, cheering, and waiting in line for their turn. No one came to the laboratory expecting to play a game, but somehow, this simple experiment became the most popular attraction in the entire building. Without knowing it, those visitors were making gaming history. The game was called Tennis for Two. It looked incredibly simple. There were no colorful graphics, no music, no score on the screen. Just a tiny glowing dot moving over a single line. Players controlled the ball using aluminum controllers with one button and a rotating knob. The button hit the ball. The knob changed the angle. That was it. Yet for the first time in history, people weren't just watching technology. They were playing with it. You might think a game this important would make its creator famous, but that's not what happened. William Higinbotham never tried to sell his game. He never started a company. He never asked for a patent. To him, Tennis for Two was just a fun science project, a simple way to make visitors smile. He had no idea that one day, video games would become one of the biggest entertainment industries in history. Sometimes, the world's greatest ideas begin so quietly that nobody notices them. After the exhibition, the game disappeared. The equipment was taken apart, the wires were removed. The oscilloscope returned to its normal job. For years, almost nobody talked about Tennis for Two. It was never sold in stores. It was never copied into homes. And for a long time, many people didn't even know it had existed. The world's first video game had almost been forgotten. But history wasn't finished yet. For a few years, the idea seemed to disappear. But deep inside universities, something was changing. Computers were becoming more powerful. Young programmers wanted to do more than solve math problems. They wanted computers to be fun. In 1962, a group of students at MIT created a new game called Space War. Unlike Tennis for Two, this game spread from one computer to another. Soon, programmers across the country wanted to play it. Without realizing it, they were creating the future of gaming. The next big step came when video games left laboratories. Instead of scientists, ordinary people could finally play. Large arcade machines appeared in shopping centers, restaurants, and amusement halls. Children, teenagers, and adults stood in line with coins in their hands. For the first time, playing a video game became a public experience. Gaming was no longer an experiment. It had become entertainment. Then, everything changed. In 1972, a simple game called Pong appeared. It wasn't the first video game, but it was the first one to become a huge commercial success. The rules were simple: hit the ball, don't miss. That's it. Yet people couldn't stop playing. Arcade machines were always busy. Some owners had to empty the coin boxes several times a day because they became completely full. Video games had officially become a business, and there was no turning back. From that moment, the industry grew faster than anyone expected. Home consoles arrived. Families could finally play games without leaving the house. Every new generation brought better graphics, better sound, and bigger worlds. Games were no longer just a hobby. They became part of everyday life. Millions of children grew up with controllers in their hands, and what started as a tiny experiment inside a laboratory had now become a global culture. Today, video games are everywhere. People play on phones, computers, consoles, and even virtual reality headsets. Every single day, billions of hours are spent inside digital worlds. The gaming industry now earns more money than the movie and music industries combined. It's hard to believe, because it all started with one tiny glowing dot on a small oscilloscope screen. History doesn't always begin with a famous moment. Sometimes it begins with a simple idea. William Higinbotham never imagined that millions of children would one day grow up playing games inspired by his experiment. He wasn't trying to change the world. He just wanted visitors to have fun for a few minutes. Yet his small project helped start one of the biggest revolutions in entertainment history. That is the true power of curiosity. The next time you pick up a controller or open a game on your phone, remember this story. Behind every modern game is a journey that started more than 60 years ago inside a small laboratory with a scientist, a simple idea, and a glowing green screen. If you enjoyed discovering the hidden history behind the world's first video game, don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories about the inventions that changed our world. Because every great invention has a story, and we're just getting started.